and everybody just thought they was crying wolf again.
Yeah.
You know? So, tell you the truth, had I lived out on the main strip, we would have all been gone, because I wouldn't have left, because they'd said it so many times, you know? Terrible, terrible noise. And one of her girls came outside and she said, Gertie, she said that I was going to fix breakfast for the kids, because I had 5 and she had, I think, 7.
Good God.
Yeah, so she said that the power went off. Well, see, it had already hit the substation up there, knocked the power and everything. We didn't know what it was. But like I said, when we heard this noise, we were on the front porch and we turned to look. And coming out of the main holler down, there was a blue house riding on top of this 25, 30 foot wave. And I didn't know it at the time, but the Dillon family was in it. I didn't see anybody, thank God, but the house did wake up and lost the whole family. So, is that pretty well? That's not the end of it. I wish you want to ask questions.
No, you keep going.
Okay. When we saw what had happened, I froze on the front porch and couldn't move. And Arlene Johnson, which is the mother of the other children, she said, Lord God, kids get the heels. And when she said that, it seemed like it just broke something and everybody grabbed and ran, you know. And one of her daughters picked up my daughter, Cheryl Lynn, at the time, and she wasn't but a little over 3-year-old, and she loved meal better than anything. And she got on the hill where she was so scared, she kept saying, I want milk, I want milk, you know. And then as we went, then somebody said, well, that was, no, wait a minute, I came back out of the holler then,
Okay.
because when we ran, I didn't see my 2 oldest sons, Tommy and Jeff. And what Tommy had done, he was 12 at the time, and Jeff was about 4.5. And he had grabbed Jeff and went on up in the hollow, and I didn't see him. And I asked Arlene where they went, and she told me that they had went to the church, which I knew was in the path of the water. Never stopped to think that the water went through, you know. So I gave her my baby, Bobby Joe, and come running out and started running toward the water and up on the hill, and I looked up the road and up from where the dam came out. And it was like black water from hillside to hillside up there. It was just like a big river running out. And I just thought they were gone, you know. And my husband had went to work. I thought he was gone. So when I come off the hill, Tommy had seen me run out of the hall, that hallway behind the house, and he come running after me, but he didn't see me go down left-handed, so he went right-handed across the creek. And when I came back up through there, I just thought, I've lost part of my family, you know. And Tommy seen me and started hollering at me, like the middle fork. 2 mountains would come together this way. There was the big one was across the front where I told you I sit down here. Well, then there was a smaller one, and then there was a smaller one. So when that happened, the first one overflowed, went into the second one, it overflowed. The third one, which you could stand and look up at it, it was so high, it was smothering. You know, you could see smoke and stuff, combustion from where that slate and stuff, you know, it built heat. Slate does after it gets so hot, and then it starts getting hot from all that pressure. And there was smoke coming out, and when it hit it, water seeped into all that smoke and burning slate, and it exploded. And when it did, it shot across the road, rocks and everything. I have a friend, Helen, that lived right above there. She didn't leave, and she told me what they saw. and they were trying to get away from it, which they did, thank God, you know. And then it shot down the road. The pressure was so forceful that it held the water together. You know, it didn't spread out when it would come to like the mouth of the hole where I live. It didn't spread out. It just shot it right on and held it right together as it came, and it just like a snake. It would take a house and leave a house, take a house and leave a house.
Okay.
And then when it would come up against a bridge or something that would back up, you know, the boards and things from the houses and what have you, it would be just like a big dam behind it. And then the force would be so great that it would break the bridge and all that, and here it would go in another gush. She lived right below the dam in a town called Saunders, and her children, she said when the water broke one time and the water came up, she said it was waist high on her, and she had a child under each arm and was carrying it through that water. And to get out, of course, that's as high as it came at that time. And why Steve and them didn't do anything about it then, don't know. But she worked at the company store in Laredo, and she said he would come in and laugh at her and make fun of her for leaving, you know, like that.
So that's waist high?
Yeah, I said, well, there's not anything going to happen. Well, he went that morning and to get raincoats and things for the men to work on the hill, to try to keep it under control. And when he left, going back, he ran into the water itself. And he shot up things hollering. They said they found him up there just wandering around babbling, you know. Can you only imagine the fact that your word, you know, your word would have sent everybody home, sent them packing instead of, you know,
yeah,
save them.
A lot of weight.
And he had, you know, there was none on that almighty dollar seems like was all they were interested in. And from what I can understand, they could have taken like $250,000 and built that dam correct. Misplaced and tore up. People left, and we still don't know where they went to. You know, we had tight communities. It's not that we couldn't breathe without each other, but still we was raised with each other. The whole community was just like a big family, you know. And I had lived there all my life in Laredo. You could see slowly how the mines were going down and people were leaving like one by one. And I know the older ones would have never left, you know. But when that came, it just took them all away. They moved different places, and our life all become a different way of life. Like we went to bed with one kind of life and we woke up. Well, we found this one, we found that one here, there, wherever. And we were in shock. I mean, it just didn't register at the time. You know, everybody was doing what they had to do to get through it. And I know they had mass funerals, like, you know, the families. My husband lost 22 people in his family. And they was like burying 3 or 4 at a time. After that, about 2 weeks after that, where he had known everyone too, he went out into the camp, and the state police would come and get him, you know, where he knew a lot of people to help him identify and recover bodies. And he wound up in the hospital with walking pneumonia and nerves, and he was delirious, and I thought I was going to lose him at the time too. So thank God I didn't.
Yeah.
But I did lose him 3 years later. So,
is that from the walking pneumonia?
I think, no, he had 85% black blood. He was only 38 years old. And they took him out of the mines in 73, and he died.